Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Chris and Tammy here, coming to you live from Daytona Beach, Florida. It's always an opportunity to share our experiences. And this morning, we really want to talk about the compensation plan and the building blocks that you need to focus on to actually get the rewards that you're looking forward to in building your GotBackup business. But before we begin, I'd like to welcome everybody here. We have Bakshir, welcome from Bangladesh. We have Robert. Great to see you here, Robert. It was nice meeting you. And where was it? Was it San Antonio? It was close to San Antonio anyway, where the office is. It was great to see you there. Anyone from Ghana, great to have you here from Accra, Ghana. Benjamin, great to have you here. Welcome. I believe from South Africa. I don't see one here. Let's see. Rita, welcome. Chris, great to have you here. Great that you're going to join the Boss Street. There's going to be some phenomenal trainings there with the email marketing and so forth. Corky, great to have you here. Well, wonderful to see you here. We have Shara. Welcome from Florida, same state as where we're located right now. We have here Chris from Virginia. Great to have you. You have Lee and Mara from the Netherlands. Awesome. Kim from Florida. Welcome. We have Linwood Jones. Great to have you here. We have Sugira. Great to have you here. We have Andres. Great to have you here. Joe, welcome, Joe. Let's see here. We have Sugira. Great to have you
from
here.
Mongolia. Awesome.
Cool. Very cool. Darlene, welcome. Bonjour, Lucie. Great to have you here. Michelle. Let's see here. We have Emilio and we have Michael and Daniel. And many of you are coming here we have Dr. Ricky. We have Robert, Daryl. I don't want to leave anybody out. Keith and
Lillian. Welcome, everybody. We're so happy that you joined us this morning, our time. I know it's a global presence here, and we really appreciate you showing up. It is so important. This segment that we're going to share with you is absolutely important, and everybody that you have in your organization, make sure they have the recording if they're not showing up live, because this is what is going to drive people to do the actions in building their business when they have the clear picture of the fundamentals on the compensation plan, and to have an understanding of how it all rolls out. That's when they're going to get excited. It's all about vision, right? When they can see it, they're going to do the actions.
I totally agree, Tammy. Totally agree, 100%. So one thing that's important to understand right now is, okay, where do you need to focus on? Sorry, I got a few things here I'm trying to adjust as I'm sharing this. Let me just share my screen and let's add this to the screen. Okay, here we go. So you probably noticed that most presentation are pretty much the same, and we kind of talk about the same thing. And we really want to help you on understanding what is presented, and in line to that, where do you need to focus on? And I'm going to be, once we explain a little bit of the compensation plan that we present on a regular basis, then I'm going to shift over to the PDF document for you to have a better understanding of the criteria that you need to qualify for and the benchmarks that you need to focus on in building your business. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to all of you. Tammy, anything you want to add as I move forward here?
No, you can go ahead, and I'm just going to follow through with greeting you.
So as you see, when we present this, again, this is something that I also wanted to mention. As you are sharing this opportunity and this tools that's available of 6 terabytes, and others are saying, well, why should I use GotBackup instead of Dropbox or Google Drive or whatever? And I'm not saying we're better, folks, because for example, Google Drive has specifics that has to do with iPhones, but it doesn't necessarily has any value for people who have Android. And but the point here is, this is the only storage company or cloud storage company that will pay you. So this is something that you also can add as a major plus. This on its own is a massive product, is you get compensated for telling others about it other than just paying your bill every single month. Now, what we want to focus on here is the 7 ways to earn. So Tammy, why don't you kind of cover 1, 2, and 3, and let's expand on those.
Absolutely. So the customer acquisition bonus, CAB for short, you guys, that is when somebody wants to get started in becoming a member. And if they decide to come in for the monthly, they you would get the 200% upfront. So if we round it off, it's 9.97, but if we round it off $10 just to keep everything simple, then you're going to get 20 bucks every single time somebody comes in and pays monthly. And if they decide to pay yearly upfront, which is so much better for all of us, it's because it gives them time to set up their data, to get everything all set up. It gives them time to do that, and they save a couple months of payments. So you're going to get 50% upfront for that. So that's like 50 bucks. And I'm telling you, if you get a marketing strategy going where you're bringing in a bunch of people yearly, you're going to do extremely well in the front end with the customer acquisition bonus. Yeah. So do you want to add to that, Chris? Or
No, absolutely. Well, the one thing I'd like to mention when it comes to customer acquisition bonus, and again, we're not doing a presentation here, folks. We
no?
want you to relate to the compensation plan documentation. Let me rephrase that. The compensation plan requirements for you to be able to earn more. Okay. And once you have a clear vision of what you need to do and the results that will come from that, has a lot to do with understanding what are the steps. So when we talk about the customer acquisition bonus, the CAB, obviously this I think most people do understand. But the thing I want to point out to you folks that people don't often recognize here is when you look at the 200% on the 997. Now think about this, folks. This is very, very, very generous from the company's part. They are doubling, but this happens on month one when they enroll. That's not something that happens every single month. Okay, that's going to happen when we talk about the cycling and everything else. Now, for someone who's, for example, who is an affiliate marketer, they love this part because most people will pick the 99.97 for the year. So you pay one time and you have access to your cloud for an entire year, 12 months. And in the same time, you actually have 2 months that are paid, right? That are actually included in that. So you're really paying for 10 months. But the point I want to get at is 50% of $100, if I may round it off, that's 50 bucks. It's not exactly what you get. It's going to be 49 something. But just to be, keep things simple here, we'll talk about a crisp 50 bucks. Every time you enroll someone, that's $50. So if you enroll, I don't know, 10 people, folks, that's 500 bucks. 500 bucks. And there are people that are enrolling hundreds of folks, the affiliate marketers out there. Do you understand the income there? It's absolutely massive, but that's paid one time when they enroll. I'll talk about where the network marketing really shines when it comes to the cycling and the matching cycles.
And if I
Okay.
could just add to that, you guys, because some people will ask you, I don't have $100 right now, or I can't come up with $100 right now. Get them in. Don't wait. Okay, get them as a member. Get them in at the monthly, and then they can upgrade to the yearly. If they can't do it today, get them to do it for next month. Okay, so these are some of the strategies that we use when we're connecting with people, and helping them see the bigger picture.
Yeah, and all the other packages that are available, right? For example, the Boss Street, some of you are referencing here, and the VIP, and all the other program or products that is available for you to share, you get 25%. You get 25%. So this is really, really cool, right? So this is a payout that you get for that will add on to if someone decide to sign up, for example, for the year or the $10 a month. So everything compounds. And when we talked about the customers, folks, there's people that are not really interested in building a network. They just want the 6 terabytes. Well, if they pay, for example, for the year, What GotBackup does is they will spread the payment in 12 months, and every single month you will have a customer and you'll receive the 25%. So that'll be $2.50. It may not seem like a lot, but if you have 20 customers, that's $50 a month. Now, for some of you, that may not be all that much, but I'm telling you, folks, in some markets, $50 US a month multiplied by 12 or 15 or whatever the currency exchange may be, it's quite significant. So that opens the gateway for a great income and to sustain a lifestyle in many parts around the world. So it's important to understand the potential that we have with the customer acquisition bonus. This is a really good income. And I'll share with you in a compensation plan. There's percentage that are that each segment of the comp plan is actually divided into. And today we're not going to go through the entire PDF compensation plan. We don't want to complicate things. We want for you to understand what you need to do based on what we're presenting on a weekly basis. I hope that makes sense, everybody. Okay, so let's carry on here over here. The next thing we talked about, these are the examples I was telling you about a moment ago. Okay, now when we talked about here, the 7 ways to earn. So one of the reasons why, for example, when I present this and I explain the 2-3, it's important people understand. Many people have many prospects, and some may not have anybody. Okay, and that's a different segment of the trainings on the email marketing and everything else, on how to acquire customers and leads and everything else. That's not what we're talking about at the moment. I know that some of you, that's what you want to hear, but what we're talking about right now is understanding the compensation plan. Okay, so what's happening here is building your team tree, so that you have 2 people, 5 people, 10 people. You have to place them somewhere. And the fact is, only 2 places you can put them, either on the bottom right or the bottom left. It's as simple as that. And when you see an indirect person over here, that's someone that happens to be sharing the same leg, just as you are sharing the leg with the person over here that's direct. Okay. For example, this person indirect here was introduced by someone above you. And just you introduce this direct person over here, well, that person will benefit from that. So when you start looking at their cycle bonus, that person will count towards that. And it goes beyond also with other bonuses that are available there. So this is what it is. And folks, I just want to reiterate that I'm sharing you the compensation plan from the presentation to create a benchmark for you to relate to. And then we'll get into the PDF and kind of break down the qualification, especially for you to move up in rank, and which is really, really important.
And if I could just add to that, Chris,
Sure.
Once people sign up, they don't go automatically into the tree. You get to place them. So they go into what's called a holding tank. And so when you click on my business and you click on my downline, you're going to see, when you scroll, you're going to see the top part with the tree, but you scroll down a bit and you're going to see holding tank, and you'll see the name of the person. Well, you need to open up are you showing them, Chris?
Well, I'm not, because it's going to expose the entire.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh my gosh.
If you click, this is what Tammy
so
talked
you
about
need to
here, my
open the
downline.
full downline. So when you're in that section, then you of your downline, when you open the full downline, you have these open areas that you can place people. And Chris and I teach people how to place people left and right. So when you're brand new, you'll have empty spots, right? So you put one on the left. Once you click on that circle, the names of the people in your holding tank, if there's one, you'll see that one name. But if there's several names, you're going to see those names. And you can decide which one you're going to put in that circle. And then, of course, you agree, you're saving it to agree that that's where you want them. You also have in the FAQ, you have, I believe it's number 5, on the holding tank, to give you a visual of what I'm just sharing with you in the FAQ.
So it's number 5 here, the holding tank, right here.
Holding tank. There you go. Number 5. And your team members need to know this stuff. Okay, so it's important that you take note of all of this stuff that people need to know. and they have, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong. I know some of you in the comments might know too. I believe you have 72 hours to place them,
Correct.
or the company automatically places them, if,
S- So,
unless
so
they
just to
change.
add to
Yes.
this, Danny, because it's a very good point that you're bringing here, is wherever side is the small. See, the company is trying to help you. So whatever side has less members, by default, it's going to end up on that side to try to balance the amount of people you have on your left side and your right side to maximize. I'll come back to that a little bit later when we start calculating the cycle bonus. Okay. But I just wanted to add this. So when Tammy talked about if someone enrolls and they happen to be and you're holding tank, and again, I do recommend that you go here. Oh, sorry. You go here and you're actually watch a video holding tank. I
Mhm.
mean, folks, there's nothing missing here for you to understand this entire strategy from this wonderful project, right? So here, I recommend for you to go there. Okay. Um, from that point, is there anything else, Tammy, you want to add to this?
Nope, that's good.
Cool. Okay, so now what's happening here is we want to talk about the cycle earning. We often mention, okay, tier one and tier two. Okay, and we'll come back to that in a moment when I look at the PDF and everything else, and we look at the ranks. So tier one, it's the level you're at. For example, when you are a copper and a bronze, a silver, and a gold, you are in a tier one. You move to tier two when you become a platinum. I know this morning was there was someone in Ghana that just became platinum. Congratulations! So what's happening
Awesome.
here, folks, is when you become a platinum, now you're jumping from tier one to tier two. So the company will increase your pay as you contribute to the team, to your business. And we'll talk to you about the qualification in a moment here. It's actually really, really cool. It's really not that hard. It's just for you to be aware of that. So that's how you move from tier one to tier two. And the other thing to qualify to receive a cycle, see, the question is how many cycles you want. Well, this is going to be based on the amount of people you got on your left and your right side. And a cycle is generated from a ratio of 4 to 2. What I mean by a ratio of 4 to 2 is that one side has to have 4 people and the other side has to have 2 people. It doesn't matter what side that is. It's irrelevant which side. But what happens is that the computer will count how many you have on your left side and how many you have on your right side that meets this requirement of every time you got 4 and 2, which is a total of 6, it triggers a cycle. And the value of a cycle will be determined by the company's profitability and by your rank, as I was telling you, from tier one to tier two. Anything else you want to add to this, Tammy?
Nope, it's all good.
Cool. Okay. And the last thing I want to mention here when it comes to the compensation plan, we talk about the cycle match. Now, the cycle match, folks, this is pretty significant, but it will start when you become a Sapphire. And again, I will come back to the ranks in a moment here and how you qualify for them. But as a Sapphire, now you start earning a matching cycle bonus. So for every person you brought into this business that are actually cycling, you will earn a percentage that the company will send to you as a matching bonus cycle. So, for example, you sponsor any one of us here, and let's say we cycle 10, 100 times. For you, it's 25% of that. How many cycles that is? That'll be 25 cycles. So if a cycle is worth X amount of dollars, well, 25 that will be the income you'll receive as a matching cycle bonus from that person. Do you get it? When you see $1,000 here, it doesn't mean you're going to earn $1,000 the moment you cycle. What it means is if, let's say, you sponsor someone that is cycling, I don't know, 700 times because they're really out there, they're building their businesses, right? And what's happening, 25% might be more than $1,000. So what's happening, depending on the value of a cycle, and if depending on if they're in tier one or tier two. So what's happening is you can earn more than 1,000, but you can't get more than 1,000. This is what we call the cap. So as a Sapphire, you cannot make more than $1,000 for each person, even though you might have sponsored a guy that or a lady that became a whale in building their business. For you to qualify to earn more, you got to move up from a Sapphire to Emerald. And again, I will tell you how you move up in rank in a minute. I just want you to understand the logic from a point of reference that you guys hear every single week. Hope that makes sense.
And when you look at this chart, this is where the team building comes into play, right? It's to help the people that you personally bring in to get to their next level, and to guide them, to support them, to get to the next level. Of course, you can never drag anybody across the finish line, but those who really want to do this, you want to make sure that they're getting to that next level, if they know what it takes to get to that next level, which is on a chart, which is very easy to see, but support is absolutely critical.
Yeah, I agree with you and Am. This is what often catches people's attention, folks.
Exactly.
This is why it's important for you to understand what this is and what this means, because it's an eye catcher.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And thank you for this comment, Neonam, because you're absolutely correct. Because we're not telling you you're going to make $20,000, right? This is a ladder of success.
Yep.
So what's happening here is that if you are sponsoring someone that just is very serious, they're not whining and complaining. They're building their businesses. They're out there building their business, and it's growing. They're duplicating, and we'll tell you what you need to duplicate in a minute, which is the building block. And Tammy and I have a lot of experience in duplicating a simple step that will take you all the way up to the top of the food chain. This is one of the reasons we are at the level we're at. It's because of this simple step we are working on every single day. We're not trying to recruit the whales out there. We're just recruiting folks like you and I, normal folks, and understanding the process of duplication. Now, what's happening here is when you see 20,000, it's because you sponsor someone that became a black diamond. But for you to be able to earn that much, you also have to match the level. No, you could be a diamond. Hey, folks, I don't know about you, but that's still really good money. Mm-hmm. So if someone passes you, my recommendation is bow. Congratulate them. Don't be jealous because one of your downline do better than you. You benefit. This is what this is. Okay. So this ladder of income here is based on their effort. And the thing that I often reference to when we present is right now, GotBackup is a company that is still in the early stage. We're starting, we're figuring each other out. But at the end of the day, we have a great product. And the same token, Dropbox has 700 million users. So it took them 7 years to get into momentum, folks. We're crossing our second year. I'm telling you. So it's important to understand the vision, where we're going with this. But once the number starts exponentially growing, folks, what's going to happen is some of you are going to fall on your backs on, oh my God, what's going on with my income? It's because the numbers are growing. The company's becoming more and more profitable, and the cycle value is increasing. And the same work you've done, you're earning more because the percentage have increased. Not the percentage, the value of the percentage have increased because people have actually, because the company's growing. So what I'm trying to tell you here, folks, is all of this is based on the fact that if the company grows, we grow with it. That's why this comp plan is so powerful. And I think a lot of folks don't fully understand that. They want to settle for the small little, 25% that was there before. Folks, this comp plan could be monstrous. When I say could be, is because if the company turns around and starts hitting some very large numbers, well, you're all part of that because we get percentage from that. And you don't need to fully understand this. What we need for you to focus on is what you need to do to move up in rank from an associate to a copper to a bronze and so forth. And of course, this is the reason why we have these extra bonuses over here. Because, for example, the generation bonus, and again, I'll go back to the PDF for you to get a better illustration on this. But, sometimes you got people who have a big leg on one side, but the other side hasn't really taken off yet. That's why that bonus is awesome, because you can benefit from the big side. Because you get 2.5% from every $10 that are active on that big leg. But there are limitations based on your rank. As you move up in rank, you go deeper and deeper to collect. That's what number 5, dynamic compression, is all about. And if you don't fully understand that, folks, don't worry about it, because you don't need to understand the engine. You just need to understand how to have your key fob around your car and press the button, boom, it starts, press the pedal and start driving. So you don't need to understand how the mechanic and how the motor function. We just need you to understand the building blocks. But I still want to give you an overview of what's going on, because some of you here are seasoned marketers and understand what it means looking at a compensation plan. So that's why I go a little further, but don't be alarmed by that, folks. It's actually really, really simple.
I love the comp plan because it teaches the right behavior. You know, so many people, they want everything for nothing. And it takes a person to, you know, focus and build a foundation to get to these levels. And if you're serious about doing this, you can do extremely well. When Chris and I saw this and we saw, you know, the possibilities, we knew that it was the wave, right? It's the wave, you guys. And we're before the wave even takes off. We're at the beginning. We're at the foundation of something that's going to explode. So knowing that, do you sit back and wait to see what the company's going to do? Or do you jump in and say, oh my gosh, this is absolutely huge. I got to be part of this. Right. So they're all decisions that every single one of us make. And I know when we saw the rank chart, maybe because we have more experience and we don't have anything limiting our mindsets, which is something that many people need to work on, is right away we saw Black Diamond. And we know we're going to get there. It's just a matter of helping as many people as we can. And the more people you support and help, the bigger it's going to get. So work on that, you guys. If that's a struggle for you, you got to work on that, because this compensation plan is absolutely massive.
Absolutely. And the thing here, Tammy, maybe actually I just want to focus, and you're absolutely correct. See, data centers, folks, this is the new oil. This is where companies are focusing on that right now.
It's true.
I mean, those devices with data has to be stored somewhere. And I'm telling you that the future, they're not going to have as much memory. Why? Because they want to sell you their cloud storage. And I'm telling you, the prices are going to vary quite a bit. And some of them could be quite expensive. And GotBackup is providing an opportunity. So they're maintaining their $997, but of course, they're going to be adding other packages and things for you to be able to grow your business even more. But the basic $997 will always be there for the 6 terabytes. So this is really, really exciting. But eventually, it's possible that things may change. But you are in now. Your grandfather, you're going to benefit from all of that. So what's going on here is, if you're talking about, for example, the rank pool, the reason why the rank pool is really cool is as you move up in rank, you get a bonus that is shared among all other members in GotBackup that have reached the same rank. But to get your bonus in the bonus rank, you have to maintain that rank. So if you're in Emerald, you have to maintain your Emerald. So it encourages the right behavior. It encourages people like, and you and I think I just said here, never sit back. Let me just, my mouse is not. Oh, I'm confused with the mouse on the screen. My mouse. Let's see here. Never sit back. Here we go. Okay, so this here, it's correct, and eventually you can kind of take a bit of a break. But at the beginning, when you start your business, it's like a plane, folks. If you press the brakes every time the plane's starting to get some momentum, you're never going to have enough speed to get the plane off the ground. Okay, so that's how it is in this business, and this plan is designed to kind of keep you going until you get a strong foundation where you got people like you that also are earning and you want to maintain their income. So they're going to also put their effort. And that's what this plan is designed to reward. So before I shift over to the comp plan, Tammy, why don't we just explain what Joe had just mentioned here on sponsoring 2, so people understand that the building block that you need to focus on without necessarily having to understand the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, the benchmarks. Do you have the slide of the benchmarks, Chris?
I will when I shift over to the. I will when I shift over to
the presentation. This is what we have in the slide. So the simple step is, obviously in the presentation we want people to sign up, right? So we have number one is to sign up and then register two people who want to be members, and put one on the left and one on the right, or one on the right, one on the left, whatever. And then they go and do the same thing. They go get two more, again, left and right. And then we want to teach them to duplicate. But we do have a benchmark, for benchmark training when people come in, so that we really teach them to focus on that chart. Do all these steps and watch your business flourish. If you take the actions and you get your team members to take those simple actions, and those team members who bring in their people who take those simple actions, you can imagine in 6 months from now, in a year from now, how explosive it's going to be. You can see the people who are hitting the ranks. They're following the system. They're duplicating it like a cookie cutter, right? Over and over and over. It might seem boring if you do this for a long time, but I'm telling you, it's not boring when you get the money, right? So it's just a matter of keeping things as simple as possible, because we know that people are distracted in today's world. People are super busy in today's world. And if you can keep them focused on the simple things, then everybody's going to grow. And get
Yes.
people to show up. Don't just show up alone. When you show up alone, you're just going to learn, right? Every time you come to something, whether it's a training, whether it's a presentation, you want to encourage your people, because people are not easily motivated today. They're so distracted. You need to bring them back to why they're doing this. And when they know why they're doing this and they can see the bigger picture, they're going to show up. And you don't have to remind them at the beginning. You have to remind people because, again, people are
It's a new
just not
habit.
used to this.
That's correct. So let's go back to the presentation here. So when you go to your back office, now I'm going to show you where to access the PDF. And just so you understand, folks, I'm just going to take a little pause here. I'm going to go to the YouTube, just so you know where everything is. Okay. And I every training, I reference this over here. And here we go. Let's go to, let's just 1 second here.
While you're doing that, you guys, another thing that I can add, when you show up and you're in the comments, obviously people see that, right? So if you're telling people to show up at a presentation, or you're telling people to show up at a training, and you're not in there when it doesn't look good. So you got to be the leader and show up. And even if they catch the recordings, people are seeing all of this stuff. So it's so important to be present if you want to succeed in life. If you want to be the CEO of your business, you got to show up.
I
If you
totally
open
agree.
a business and you have a locale, we call them locals, in a strip mall, and you don't open the door, then what kind of business are you going to get? None, right? So it's the same concept, right? So you got to treat your business like you're the CEO and you're $1 million brand or $5 million brand. Whatever energy you put out there is what you're going to get back.
Absolutely correct. So you don't want to start whining in groups and complaining, and you want to focus on the positive aspect of things, okay? Because people are drawn to negativity, and what's important here is we need to understand the process, and this is exactly why we're doing this training here this morning. So over here, what I'm pointing out here, and you can go back to the training to watch my steps on how I got to this, but this is the training called Unlocking the GotBackup Compensation Plan. It's an hour, 12 minutes, and I go through top to bottom on the PDF that I'm going to share with you that's available in your back office. I just wanted you to do that as a reference. And also what I'm going to do, I will add a reference to this in this segment here, not this one, but the actual current training that we're currently doing, for you to be able to reference to it, because we're not going to go through the entire plan. We want to focus on the building blocks that you need to focus on as you build your business. Okay, so over here, again, remember the FAQ, there's a lot of good information here that can really help you understanding here, commissions and everything else. Okay, so let's get rid of this page here. Okay, so before I get there, okay, so when you click on extra promo tool, okay, if you click on this, there's a lot of information available to you here. So if you click on promo content, I believe that's the one, right, Tammy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't be
And
shy,
then,
you guys. Just click on everything and learn what's in your toolbox.
yes. And what you see here is exactly what I prepared earlier. Okay. So let me just get rid of one of them. And this is where the PDF happens to be located. And by the way, you know when we present and you're wondering where do we get our videos, and I'm telling you that you can access the tour video that Joel is doing, it's right here. That's the video in its entirety here. Okay, how to install the phone app, and this is where I get my videos that I'm presenting. Okay, so I just want to share with them for those of you that are presenters and maybe you're looking for where are these located. So it's right here. Now I'm going to click on this file here, which is the PDF document. See how fast it is now? It's awesome. So what's going on over here is I'm going to shift over to this document for you to have um, an understanding based on what you see on their presentations on a weekly basis. Okay, so back to this here. So the customer acquisition bonus, we talked about it. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward. Now, tier 1 and tier 2 cycle bonus. This is where I'd like to spend a little bit of time on at the moment. So what's happening here is in the GBU compensation plan and looking at a team bonus grid, just kind of an overview of the bonuses that are available to you. So it sees here, you see tier 1, tier 2. Okay. Tier 1 happens to be people that are copper, silver, and gold. But as a goal, now you start, the comp plan starts opening up to you. So now you can see that you are getting generation bonus down to 3 levels. And this increases as you move up in rank. Okay. So that's the point here. The other thing I want to mention is people would like to make more money on their cycles. Well, tier 2 cycles begins when you become a platinum. And don't worry, folks, I'm going to tell you what you need to do to qualify for those in a moment. Okay. I just want to share you what the benchmarks are. So as a platinum, you also get 3 level down in generation, but now you're moving from tier 1 to tier 2. So you're more than doubling your income from here to here because the tier 2 is more than double than tier 1. Okay. So it is worth it to do the activities for you to become a platinum. You know, sometimes you hear, what is your core rank? Your core rank is actually gold. That is your core rank, reaching your level of gold. What is a building block? The building block, or reference to that, is copper. Copper. And if I go all the way down to the bottom of this document, you're going to see here that there's the 4 benchmark. Now, in our presentation, we summarize it a little bit to make it really, really simple. But this is what it is. Tammy, you want to cover this for a minute?
Yeah. So number 1 is to enroll 2 people. Put one on the left, one on the right, and then you're qualified as a copper. If you can do that, you can certainly teach it. You don't have to be a leader to teach people how to do the simple fundamentals, right? So benchmark number 2 is enrolled is to have 2 on the left and 2 on the right. That's the goal. And you want to repeat this over and over and over with your team. So number 3 is to build a user enrollment tree of 25 plus people. And how do you do that? Is you duplicate, you guys. You get the people to do coppers, get everybody to build out coppers. And then those who are copper and they build out coppers within their teams, then they're gonna grow into the ranks. And then number 4, you want personally enroll. Sorry, Chris, it's so small I can't even see.
10 people.
10 plus. Right, that's right. And then you want to make sure that you're duplicating the benchmarks, right? So this is, if you do this over and over and over again, you're going to go up the ranks. But if you don't duplicate the simple fundamentals, you're going to stay exactly where you are in a month from now and 2 months from now and so on, right? So the key is to be actively doing the small things and teaching the small things and keeping an eye on your members to see where they're at. And you can see this in your back office. You can see that under your plan there. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
So
Chris,
let's continue
I
for
don't know
now.
if you're showing it. You're able to show that in the back office when you can see your
Your
new
new
rank,
rank?
where you can see. Yeah, I just don't have the term. I'm such a visual person. I have to see things.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can check and see who's copper, how many coppers do you have, and you can click on those numbers and to see who those people are that are copper. And then you know anybody you have two, if you have 2+ coppers, you see the names there, 3+, 4+, and you go on and you can see exactly who these people are, and
Yeah.
you want to help them
Yeah.
get
I mean,
to the
for
next
me to
level.
show this, we'll have to open my entire
I
downline
know,
and
I
show
know.
everybody.
You don't have the
Unfortunately, I can't do
demo
that.
one there, right?
So yeah. So
Yeah.
let me go back to where we were a moment ago. Okay. So from there, what's important to understand here, folks, is for you to become to maximize the plan is to move up in ranks. Now, how do you move up in ranks? This is what we're going to share with you here. The reports that Tammy was explaining to you, I recommend you go to the Q&As, go back, refer to your applying for the detail, but it's all there. Everything is available in your back office. So let me focus on what we need to focus on here. So in this point, we're talking about the comp plan and how do you move up in rank? Because as you move up in rank, this is where the plan expands for you. Okay. It opens up to you. And earlier, when I was talking about percentage, see, the payout allocation is up to 75%. So 25% out of that 75% is a portion that is allowed for the CAB, the customer acquisition bonus. Everything is based on percentage. So the company never loses its shirt to pay commissions that it cannot pay based on the fact that the market and everything else have changed because the economy is going is like a heartbeat right now with everything that's going on. So this is what protects the company is we're dealing with with percentage, and you will earn based on your efforts. And even if you don't understand all of this, folks, I'm sure you understand the logic that I'm talking about here. When he talks about the cycle earning and the matching, the cycle match, 37% out of that percentage is allowed into this portion for you to earn. And rank pool is 9%. And leadership is 4%. And this, again, we're not going to go there, folks, because most of you are not in that rank level yet. But again, these are all things that as you get there, it'll make a lot of sense. I want to focus on what you need to do right now to earn an income that is decent for you. So let's go back to the rank grid, because this is what's important here. Okay. So as a bronze, you've enrolled one person. Okay. As a copper, this is the building block. You've enrolled two people, one on the left side, one on the right side. So as a silver, it's exactly the same requirement, except that someone that you've enrolled, or maybe even not the one that you've enrolled, but it could be someone that was enrolled by someone you brought in into GotBackup. Okay. Someone became copper. So that means the duplication is starting for you. Now you become a silver. You become a gold when you have enrolled 5 people. When you enroll 5 people into GotBackup, and you have 2 on your left side and 2 on your right side, you see that it's the same all the way up to Black Diamond. So that requirement is pretty easy to reach. Okay. So from there, you've enrolled 5 people, 2 on your left, 2 on your right. And what's happening here is you have a total of 3 people. Out of those 5 people that you sponsored, 3 people became copper. But what does that mean, 1, 3? That means that I'm going to go back down to here to give you an illustration. Okay. So what happens here is what you see in green are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So these are the 5 that you've enrolled. What you see here, a C in with the brown circle, that's a person that became copper. So that's a personal of yours. And he's here. You see, you've enrolled that person here on the left side. This person didn't come on copper. The person they brought in didn't come copper, but that person did. It counts. So that's 2. You've enrolled this person, and they're all users. There's no coppers here. So that means they haven't brought one on the left, one on the right. Okay. So what's happening here is on the right side, again, you sponsored someone here, and here you sponsor someone again, and they're not copper, but someone that they've enrolled became copper. And look at that. They're building their right and their left. Maybe despite of that person. See, this is how a team evolves. It's not necessarily the people you bring in, but sometimes it's the people that they will bring in. It's based on association. And this is where a team grows. But your team will not grow if you don't bring anybody to the business. So this is how this works. So in this case, it counts 1, 2, 3 copper. And those 25 people, you didn't bring 25 people. It's the combined effort of the team. And it's possible that you may have some spillover. Spillover means that someone that's above you sharing the same leg. It doesn't mean that you're going to have spillover. It just happens. Okay? It depends on the person above you working. But like Tammy and I, we didn't rely on our spillover. We rely on the work that we've done. We started from a position with 0. We weren't given a position like some people might thought. I'll never forget. We got a position and it was nothing on the left, nothing on the right, and we started building.
Like we always do. Yeah.
And some people are amazed. How come you have so many people? It's because we're focusing on the building block. One on the left, one on the right. Simplicity sells. That's the key here. So as we move back up into the grid, okay, you can see as a copper, you got 5 people, 2 on your left, 2 on your right minimum, and you have 1 copper and 3 separate enrollment tree. So every time you look at these are separate enrollment tree. And I know there's a video that explains that, but just want to give some clarity. Okay, 3 separate enrollment tree, and here are the coppers located. Okay, so that's what this means here. 1 copper and 3 separate enrollment tree. And you need a total of 25 people into your enrollment tree. So from the 5 people you brought in, if the duplication occurs, it's the reason why you end up with 25 people. Mm-hmm. Okay? Very important. Now, when I talk about platinum, you remember for the platinum, if you go back to the compensation plan, I just want to reference this over here. Let me go back here. I was telling you that you want to become a tier 2, okay? Because as a tier 2, there's a bigger income. So let me go back to the compensation plan here. So as a platinum, what do you need to do from a gold to a platinum? Well, now you sponsor 10 people. Notice that the 10 is the same for platinum, sapphire, and emerald. So when Tammy was telling you earlier, let me go back to that slide all the way to the bottom. I hope you guys don't mind me going back and forth like this. The reason why we're telling you, number 4, personally enroll 10 people right from the start is because you want to embed into their mindset that the moment they begin the business, aim to bring 10 people to your business. Not just 2, and I'm sitting back and wait to see, what's going to happen. You go and you go get 10 people. That particular 4 benchmark is critical. If understood and duplicated, there is no way for you to fail. This is how professional network marketers bill. That's the difference between the top income earners and the rest of the world. The top income earners, that could be you, folks. Don't exclude yourself when I'm saying that. That could be you. But it is based on understanding the 4 benchmarks and actually applying this and duplicating that. Okay? So let's go back to the grid that I was up earlier. And I'm not going to go through the whole entire comp plan here, folks. I just want to focus on the benchmark that are important for you to keep in mind. So as a platinum, you got 10 people that you sponsored. You got 2 on your left, 2 on your right. That does not change. Look at the difference here. You don't need a million. You only need 1 more copper. 1 more. So out of the 10 people you sponsor, you need another line of sponsorship, and someone, doesn't have to be the one you brought in, became copper. You see how simple that is, folks? And the fact is, now you got 40 people in your team. Again, you didn't sponsor 40 people. It is the combined effort of people duplicating the copper process. This is the key. Copper is key. One on the left, one on the right. If this is duplicated with the right mindset, folks, and everybody who comes in focus on these activities, there is no way to fail. Your income will grow. That's how this works. And this is why, as you move up and the top income earners, sometimes people get frustrated on the top income earners. They didn't do anything else than what we're sharing with you here. They are doing exactly what I'm sharing. They are qualifying by, look, as a Sapphire. You remember as a Sapphire, I was showing you that you get the matching cycle from a cap of $1,000 up to $20,000. I'm not saying you're going to make that, folks. What I'm saying is this is a ladder of possibilities, but you can rank anywhere between 0 and that. So what happens, it starts when you're a Sapphire. Look, if you did the 10 right away, you're done. And then you got 2 on your left, 2 on your right. Nothing changes there. You got one more person to become copper. Do you see, folks? They're not asking you to go get the moon. It's just get people to duplicate, bringing 2. That is the key. So as this grows, now what's happening is there's 50 people. Why? Because people are duplicating. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Tammy, I kind of took over here. Do you want to add anything to this?
No, this is good. I mean, if I were you, I would be like copying this slide. I know I did. And that's your benchmark, you guys. You know exactly what to do. It's just laid out for you. You don't need somebody to tell you how to do this, right? It's nice to have emotional support and cheerleaders and, team building and encouraging each other. And obviously you want to make sure that your team members are doing the same thing in terms of having this graph in front of them. If it's stuck in a compensation plan and nobody ever opens the PDF, who's going to know? Mm-hmm. Qualifications, right? So if I were you, I would screenshot this. I'd be sharing this with everybody. I'd be sitting down with everybody and working with them and helping them understand what's their next level. Mm-hmm. Right? Once you guide them on the next level, they'll go out and do it. People, I find in today's world, maybe not even today's world always, is people need to be told what to do. So if you get them to get this graph, screenshot of this graph, if you have a team platform, put this out in the platform and get people focused on this, because this is going to help people get there. The 4 benchmarks and this chart. The money will come.
Yeah, the reason why I'm so passionate about this plan is because it protects the golden goose while it is not hard to do. But for some folks that might find it hard to do, it's because they don't really know what to do. That training here is unlocking. It is the key to unlock your potential, not just your potential, but the potential of your entire organization. This is how it becomes very significant. And you'll notice that these numbers will change. I don't need to go there, folks, because this happens by default. If you've reached this, that means you've created the momentum of duplication. That's why we go back to the compensation plan over here. And we want to keep that very simple when we present here. And we're talking about sign up, register 2 resellers, 1 on the left, 1 on the right. Do it again. Why do we do that? It's because you need 2 on the left, 2 on your right. That's why we do this. And duplicate. When this occurs, then you are starting to create the culture that will, I don't want to like to say the word automatically, but you will find that these numbers will grow, not automatically, but by the duplication process. This is the right way to say it. This is how these numbers grow. It's not about you sponsoring all these people. Okay. The fact is some people are sponsoring a lot of folks, but that's not the common person. I didn't sponsor a tons of people, but I'm sponsoring people that I know have leadership skills. But sometimes it's not the people you bring in. They're going to show up through people that you brought in. That's what you need to also understand. But if you don't do the activities of the prospecting and the recruiting process, then you'll never come across these 2nd, 3rd, 4th layers leaders that may pop in that you don't even know of. but it came from association, from someone you knew. That's how a network marketing company, or let me rephrase that. That's where your network marketing business grows. Very, very important.
Yeah, sign as many people as you can, because you just never know who's going to do what, and put them in front of the basic foundation, and yeah, watch people evolve. Make sure everybody's showing up. You'll know who your leaders are. They're the ones that are showing up. They're the ones that are participating. They're the ones that are starting to present. They're the ones that are signing people up. Those are the people that are your leadership. But there's a lot of new people who have not done this before, that need some grooming, right? I was one of those people when I first started in the network marketing profession. I remember one guy said to somebody else about me, because obviously he didn't know me. I show up in the room, I'm shy, all that stuff. And he just automatically prejudged me, not knowing that the internal drive that I have. And he told me later on, after I started to have some success, he came up to me and told me what he said. He said, "This girl won't be here in 3 months from now."
I
And
remember that.
he
I know
took
who this
those
guy
words
was.
back. He took those words back. You never prejudge, because you never know who's hungry enough to make things happen in their life. You don't know people's drive. You just got to put them in front of the information, get them showing up at the stuff. I get goosebumps just talking about this stuff, because your future leaders may be sitting in your organization and you don't know it yet.
Yeah, totally agree, Tammy. So sorry, guys, I was moving some things around here to kind of look at some things without distracting you. So what's going on? If we focus back to the PDF document, I'm going to skip a few things that we talked about. I just want to focus on this. When you look at two-team tree, the difference for you to see here is two-team tree is combined. Everybody in your team, on your left team over here, and on your right team over here. That's combined with the spillover, people you didn't bring, people you don't know, and the people that you brought into your business. This is what we talk the two-team tree. This is what the cycle will count. Okay? When you start looking at different aspects of the business to qualify to become a goal in a Sapphire and above, then you start looking at your enrollment tree. Enrollment tree means that these are people that you brought in. This is your contribution to your business. On the left side is the combined effort of everybody. So the company is really generous because they pay you on the cycle bonus based on the combined effort. But for you to have access to this combined effort of everybody producing, you need to move up and you need to contribute, right? That's the reason why company survives tough times, because people get paid based on the contribution, and how much you contribute will determine how big they're going to get. And folks, you don't need to be a big deal. You just need to focus on the 4 benchmark that we were telling you earlier and duplicate that. It's not about you bringing the well or becoming this big leader. It's a little shot that just keeps shooting that over time becomes a big shot. This is what Tammy and I have recognized. I remember those little Canadians coming into the US to these big events. We were the little shots.
Yeah, we were.
Nobody knew who are these two people. But we kept
We put our
shooting.
head down and work. Yeah.
We kept working. Boom, we hit top rank. Why is that? Because we focused on the little guy. We were the little guys.
The basic foundation.
Basic foundation. That's correct, Tammy. This is how you grow an organization, folks. And this is where little shots becomes big shot. Mm-hmm. So this side over here is based on the people that you brought in and the people that they bring in. Okay. Now, the last thing I want to cover here is this over here. For example, as a copper, silver, gold, you are in tier 1. As a platinum and above, you are in tier 2. As a sapphire, you are now earning matching cycle. And this goes up, the percentage goes up as you start qualifying. Okay? So the key here, as we end this presentation, it's 11 o'clock right now. We're going to finish this. I'm not going to go through everything else. We don't need to know everything. You need to focus on that. If every one of you here focus on the 4 benchmark, one on the left, one on the right, start with that, become copper. Number 2, repeat it again so you qualify, so we can check that box out, that column out. Now, as people are in, so let's say you brought in 4 people, 5 people, I would aim for 5 at least at the beginning, right? And then you ask them, are you interested in building the business? Are you interested in earning income? Okay, you need to become a copper. What do we need to do? Okay, you need to sponsor one on the left, on the right. If you do that with every single person that you introduce to the business, now you're going to start moving into that category number 3 by building a team of 25 plus. Because now it's not your effort, but it's the combined effort. And why do we say 10 here? Is because we want to prepare you for the ranks that are going to be 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, which I think starts at platinum, emerald, and sapphire. I forgot which one. I think it's up to sapphire. Let me go back here, and let's go back. There we go. So platinum, sapphire, and emerald. See, when you do your 10, you are prepared to moving into ruby. But of course, you need to meet those requirements by helping folks qualifying for copper. And that is what the whole foundation of this plan is. Okay, sorry guys, I'm scrolling fast.
Let's go back to that slide because Joe has a question.
Which slide, Tammy?
About the black diamond. Yeah, show the chart and just read Joe's comment. If you qualify with enrollment tree at 5,000, if you look at the chart.
Okay, we're talking about.
I can see Joel.
This one over here, right?
His mind is rolling here for black diamond. This is.
We're talking about this slide here.
Yeah. So you can see to be a black diamond, exactly. So if go ahead, Chris, you can answer.
Okay, so you qualify with enroll tree of 5,000. If you don't have spillover, you have to do the 10,000 enrollment tree. Yeah,
you will have spillover. There's no way you can have that.
Yeah, the chances are that you're gonna. But here's the reality, Joe, that I've recognized in being in network marketing full time for over 28 years, is once you start building your business, and you remember we talked about the binary tree and enrollment tree. What's going to happen is, and the answer is yes, is for example, if let's say that you don't have much spillover, okay? What's going on is your entire team will be producing. And if it's duplicating the process, I'm telling you, you're not going to have a hard time getting to 5,000, right? So what they're saying here is if you have a team above you that's working, awesome, great, but not everybody has that. Not everybody has that, right? So what's happening is we sponsored people that went to work. In my entire career, I never rely on my upline.
No.
In fact, I don't recall ever having
build for the upline. We build for the team.
We were always the upline. We were the upline. We're the one that people punch their faces because you don't do enough. You don't do enough. You don't doing this. You didn't bring this. You didn't bring that. But at the end of the day, Tammy I don't have really an upline. We are the upline. You have to become that. Become the upline of your organization.
The leader, yeah.
Become the leader. If you're expecting spillover to define your future, it's going to be hard for you to have a future that you can control, because you can't control what people above you may or may not do, but you can control what you can do and your leadership and the way you inspire your team to move forward. So Joe, that was a great, phenomenal questions that brought in a point that's so important to talk about in this business. Don't rely on uplines. And I know sometimes the marketing may turn around and say certain things that think, oh, I'm going to have people underneath me that's going to be built. Even if that happens, it's never going to be enough to build the business that you're looking for. I have never seen a top income earner in any companies in my entire career that made it up because of spillover, ever. It is always based on the combined effort of them. Maybe sometime there might be some spillover for sure, but it's the people that were inspired by watching you work. You're constantly presenting. They are team members that are presenting every single Fridays, every single Sundays, all the time, different parts of the day, different languages. Become that person. And if you're not that person, partner with such a person and follow what they do and invite your people to follow what they do. And you will find that you will also benefit from their presentation skills if you tag team by showing up. Just show up. Show up to what they do. That's the difference. So we'll end on this note here, folks. It's 11:05. I don't know if there's any other questions that we can cover here. Let me just remove this. Oops. Sorry, guys. Okay. So understand that every companies have a compensation plan. And compensation plan are designed to create a behavior. And what we share with you are the key elements that will generate the right behavior within your organization. And don't be overwhelmed by everything that you hear. Focus on the simplicity. What is the simplicity in our comp plan? Copper, producing coppers. And as you keep moving forward, folks, by you introduce someone becomes copper, it is motivating. And that motivation will drive you to talk to someone else. I'm telling you, it's contagious. When you're excited, it is contagious. People want a piece of that excitement. And that's how momentum gets created. So we hope that this training has helped you. And throughout this training, I pointed you to where to find the full compensation plan explanation. Tammy and I went from top to bottom on the compensation plan. It is there. We don't have to redo this. I wanted to focus on a presentation today. Tammy and I wanted to focus on a presentation today that you can relate to based on what you hear every single week in a presentation and understanding how to move up in rank from a bronze to a silver to a gold to a platinum and so forth as you keep growing your business and a Sapphire. Once you're there, then you start benefiting for what the plan has to offer. And as you move up in rank, you just get a bigger piece of the pie. Anything, Tammy, you want to add as we end?
Yeah. When you personally sponsor somebody and they brought in some people and something, they get busy or something and they're not really helping the people in their organization, it's important that you jump in because it serves everybody to be helpful and to make sure that their team members are growing when their leader gets distracted or whatever. It's important that you do that. You also benefit by doing that. So help people. It's all about helping people get to the next level. And we're all in this to get GotBackup to $1 billion brand. And we just need to focus on the fundamentals. Look down in your organization and do whatever you can to help the people that are there and continually sponsoring as well. And you'll see that your teams will flourish.
Wonderful. Guys, listen, Tammy and I really, really appreciate your generous feedback on the training here today. If you like what we've done, just smash that like button, share it with your team so they're understanding what they need to focus on to build a business. This step alone could actually increase your income for your next paycheck. Okay, just by getting people an enlightenment on what they need to understand and focus on to build a business. So we hope that was helpful. We will see you on Wednesday evening in our presentations. And I know that there's Dr. KOA does a presentation on Sunday. Take advantage of these presentations. There's others in different languages. Just pay attention to your leadership, to your WhatsApp groups. And folks, be kind in WhatsApp groups and Telegram groups. Stay positive,
Celebrate
be constructive, contribute to help people evolve, opposed to maybe lashing out because you're not happy about something that's maybe not going your way. Okay, so very, very important here, folks. This is something I value a lot. I value constructive, even constructive criticism. All of these things are wonderful. So be kind to the people that are here to help you because they will serve you. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Have a great weekend.